Hello everyone, to all the 37 of you loyal viewers. I just hope you're enjoying this three-part series and all the individual snippets that we've made only for you. I just have a request from you again. Don't forget to comment if you think we are right, if you think we are wrong. Cricket is a game of opinions and we really want to know yours. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon because we want you to gain access to our videos really as soon as possible. Thank you.
खिलाड़ी वाह वाह जियो खिलाड़ी वाह वाह.
So the first matchup that we had was an interesting one. Jimmy Anderson versus Dennis Lillee. Now, I'm sure you guys have something to say about this. So Tom, what is Jimmy Anderson meant for you guys? I mean, 150 plus test matches for a bowler. That's just incredible, isn't it?
He's great, and he just keeps on going. I absolutely love Jimmy, and I was actually there when he made his England debut in an ODI at the MCG in either the back end of November or maybe it was early December 2002. And as with most England tours to Australia, all of our players were getting injured, retiring, probably going home at the same time. And Anderson actually got called up from I think a fast bowling camp that he was on. And he got selected for this ODI, but he didn't even have his name or his number on the back of his shirt. It was that last minute. And so, yeah, I feel a real privilege to see his debut and then really see his career kicking on. And you just look at Jimmy Anderson and you kind of think about his hair in the early days where he had almost like a KP-esque bit of colour going through it. Last summer he dyed it grey, which was a bit odd. But as you say, he's been going since 2002. It's now 2020. I was looking at the years that all the players have been playing who are on the list, and I think there's only one player who's actually lasted longer than him. So yeah, his duration is just incredible. I love the fact that he turned it on in Australia in 2010-11. Admittedly, he's not been able to turn it on every time when he goes over there, but there's very few English players who've got such a good record in Australia as him. And also, I think the Ashes series last summer would have been very different if Jimmy had managed to bowl more than the 4 overs that he didn't bowl. Which, off the top of my head, I think he went for maybe 1 run. And was just being great. So yeah, we absolutely love Jimmy. He's a great lad. He's a great bowler, and I think the Aussies don't really like him, which just adds to it as well. So that's what we love about him.
Yeah. What do you have to say about Dennis?
Paul, you want to talk about Dennis first?
Yeah, I mean, the first Test match I remember was actually Dennis Lillee's last Test match, and I think that's 36 years ago now. Dennis Lillee is still doing TV commercials in Australia. That's how popular he still is. He was the Shane Warne of his era. He was so popular, and particularly before he injured his back, the run-up that he had to the wicket was just excitement plus. And he was kind of, you hear lots of players talking about, he was the complete fast bowler. One of the things I like, and it's kind of a story that impinges on how the way that helmets have changed cricket, that the 1974-75 Ashes was when Lillee and Thompson together terrorised England. But in the first innings of the first Test match, Tony Greig actually scored a century, and he was so confident and cocky and mad that each time he'd hit Dennis Lillee for 4, he would signal a boundary himself in addition to the umpire. And I remember a few years ago they showed the highlights of this, and a couple of the pull shots, he wasn't quite getting into line. He was still smashing it for 4. And one of the commentators said to Tony Greig, I don't know whether it was Slater or Healy, you weren't quite getting into line there, Greggy. And he said, well, I'll tell you, when Dennis Lillee's bowling to you, you've got no helmet, you wouldn't be getting into line either. It was like a real difference. And I thought, yeah, you're absolutely right. You're not going to get your head behind those. Lillee, for many Australians, is their greatest sporting hero.
Yeah. And I just build on that and say the respect and admiration that I have for batsmen in that era is just humongous. The likes of Gavaskar and the likes of Border and the likes of these guys who face these bowlers, these scary fast bowlers, in different times without proper helmets or any helmet at all, for that fact. I think the impact that Dennis Lillee has had on my life in particular, look, Dennis Lillee was before my time, but I can't have a cricket discussion with my father without him mentioning Dennis Lillee. Just like we could talk about T20 cricket, and he'll talk about how good Dennis Lillee was back in the day, and it's just remarkable, that impact. My uncles are the same. They came to the country in the 70s, and they were introduced to cricket that time, and Dennis Lillee was bowling, and that's how they fell in love with the game. And I think what Paul said about how much he was loved, definitely feel that very close to home here as well.
Yeah, I completely agree on that point, especially about the batsmen, going out there without proper helmets, facing the likes of the West Indian bowlers, Thompson, Lillee. I mean, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
So, of course, we ran the polls, and the clear difference in this was that, Dennis Lillee had a better average strike rate than Anderson, but Anderson had played much more than Dennis Lillee, even twice the number of his matches. So, Anderson took this poll, and I think it was based on the longevity, and longevity is an important factor. Anderson took it only 60-40, which is actually, the margin is quite less when we compare it to the other polls that we had. But of course, Lillee had to bow out in this one. But the impact that Dennis Lillee and Jeff Thompson had, Jeff Thompson, some of the batsmen say that he even bowled at a 170 kilometers per hour. I don't know how they measured it, but they just say that, boy, it did seem like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Then